Yeah, it's that time. It's time to now redefine what a dad bod is. What's going on, everyone? Let me refix my mic here. Yeah, it's that time. I was leery about doing this video. I've been procrastinating about doing this video for really many months, but now it's time for me just to go ahead and get it done. So if you want to follow the series, if you want to be involved in really what I'm going through, I would love to answer questions while I'm doing this. But I have a confession to make, y'all. I think I'm about to put on the old posing trunks. Yeah, after kind of being a student of bodybuilding, or I'll say a fan of bodybuilding, going back into the late 80s, early 90s, not even really touching the weights consistently until about 1994. And now, I mean, it's about time. I'm thinking about putting on the Speedos. And so now that I'm really beginning to get serious with this, I want to take you along with me on this journey. Why? Because already a ton of people are asking me questions. This is exactly how I ended up going into the exercise science field. And I would later go on and have a brief career as a strength and conditioning coach. And it was the reason why I got into the field in the first place, working a dead-end job, was because everyone was asking me, how in the world did you lose weight? I may put up some pictures with this video so you'll see how big I was. At least the pictures I remember specifically back in 1992. Took a trip out to California with my son, and I look back at who that guy was, and you know, of course, that dude is still in the inside, but it's like, wow, I can't believe I was this big. And you know, I'm just a quarter of an inch under 6 feet tall. I told y'all the truth. Just a quarter of an inch under 6 feet tall. And at one time, I don't even remember what I really weighed, but I think I ended up tipping the scales. I remember at about 255, 260. And that was when I ended up having some knee problems, and I went to the doctor. The doctor said, "You're too fat." Long story short, I was not happy that he put it so bluntly to me. And we kind of had some words. I got pulled into his office I guess he was afraid I was going to, put a lawsuit on him or holler racism or something. But I have to admit, Dr. Parker, I don't know where you're at, but you changed my life with that. Because I think you already saw something that even at a young age, 22, 23 years old, I needed to do something about my weight because I was beginning to get pre-diabetic, have high blood pressure. And that changed my life. So by 1994, picked up weights for the first time consistently. I had dabbled with them a little bit. You know how we do playing baseball in high school. We did some of these and some of these, and we did all these kind of little goofy things there. So in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really mean much. But by the time I really hit about 24, I bought my first weight set, and that was when I started training. And I got down to a body weight. When I got married in 1995, I got down to a body weight of 200 pounds. I'll never forget stepping on the scale at my aunt's house in California on our honeymoon. And I stepped on that scale and it said 200. And so really I hovered about 200 until, especially while I was in the fitness field, I actually got down to 177 at one time. And shout out to my brother. Some of you may have seen him on another video. I'll actually be posting that here at the very end that we did on testosterone replacement therapy. My brother has always been a tremendous inspiration for me, even though he's quite younger than I am, but he ended up taking on the weight training a little bit after I did. And he always pushed me because it was like, I got to keep up with my little bro. So I did. And when he got me really into my best shape, and I was really enthusiastic about it going into my late 20s. But then after I got out of the fitness field, which right around 33, I still hovered about 200 pounds. But by the time I started working a consistent desk job, my weight started going up. And I probably hovered between 210 and 230 really for over the last 15 years. Now, sometimes I would diet. I would do like the velocity diet on T Nation for some of you who are familiar with that. And so I would always, I don't want to say I was a yo-yo dieter, but I certainly dieted a lot more, always going through this. I tried to lose a little bit of weight, and then I would go ahead and gain a little bit of weight because then I want to put on some mass because, I don't want to be too small because I want to look good in my clothes. And I realized, you know what? I was end up creating that dad bod. I was getting that dad bod. And I realized, especially when I look back at some pictures when we first moved out here to Arizona, I looked at some photos and I was like, man, I was fat. I mean, I could see the chub around my back, like, it's pretty bad. So I decided that, of course, every year I'll say, I want to be in the best shape that I can be in for my upcoming birthday. But toward the end of last year, two things happened. The first one, I went to a bodybuilding contest that my cousin was competing in. Now, I knew she always wanted to dabble in the fitness field, and she had tremendous genetics to do so. Props to her. And I guess I'm the type of person that once I'm able to see someone that I know do something, it really empowers me. And it's like, you know what? This is now becoming a reality. I think I may be able to do this as well. And that's exactly what she did. She really, seeing her on stage, seeing her pose, and it was her first contest. It was an inspiration for me to say, you know what, you're supposed to be the fitness dude in the family. But I never got myself really, really in consistent and good shape for any length of time. Again, I would just go down, drop 20 pounds, but then usually within a few more months, I was back up. And so, you know, despite having all the kids, et cetera, that was just how things went. And I used certain things as an excuse, again, just being a big guy. So I thank you, she knows who she is, for being that inspiration for me. And, you know, now I still continue to go support her at her shows, but not only to support her, but because I find it to be a tremendous motivation. Like that first week after going to a show, I have so many ideas going through my head. And for once, now, as I always say, I'm over a half century old. I now think I want to finally step on the stage. And then another inspiration, my next door neighbor. My next door neighbors both work out, but not just work out. I mean, these folks are pros. And so, you know, I saw my next door neighbor and I saw how ripped he was. You know, I would look at him and, you know, I could tell, obviously you could tell they both work out and lift. But particularly, he's over 60 years old. And when he was almost in show, the show was coming up that he was traveling to. And I saw how ripped and shredded he was, especially in his delts. You know, it was almost like Will Smith in that movie, Pursuit of Happiness, where he said the dude pulled up in the Ferrari when he was working down in New York, and he was just walking past and was like, I don't know, whatever you're doing to basically get that car, tell me so I can do it. And that was pretty much what I said to him. And so here we are. I started working with him right at the very end of November. Ryze will say, let's just say December 1st to make it easy. And now here we are, almost through July. And I started at a weight that would have had me, I was just over, I think at the time I was hitting 220, just over 220, around 220. And, you know, of course, as anything else, when you start observing something, you automatically start changing, even if you don't intend to. So as soon as I knew I was going to have to monitor my foods and really what he was going to do for me is simply take over my macros. I've been training long enough. I know how to design a workout, write a workout, give a workout. I know my people that I like to follow and their workouts. I trust that. So I didn't need that. But what I did need is someone to keep me honest on my food intake and to keep me out of my head. Maybe that's you today. So maybe if any of my videos and following this journey, if it'll keep you out of your head, where you don't have to, am I getting too big? Am I getting too small? What am I doing? Should I cut calories on it? And then we watch videos. I know there are more people out there like me that consume so much information. We have all this info, but now it's like a book where we don't know what page to turn to find out where we did that highlight. What page was that quote on? And so maybe this will help some of you. So, or maybe I'm just another information resource as well that's going to get thrown in there. But if it helps, let's get it together for you. So let me fast forward and go back, or actually let me go back to what I was saying. So I asked him for help, and now all these months later, I weighed in today at 192, and we are still now in kind of moving toward a pre-contest diet plan. I'm nervous, and this is why I'm doing this video series, because you're going to help me stay on course. I'm depending on you out there to help me stay on course. I know one thing about me, and a lot of when we're talking about working out, exercise, dieting, etc., it's about looking inward before, that's more motivation than anything outward. Yeah, my cousin, my neighbor, etc., they were all motivations for me. But at the same time, there are things I knew about myself. I knew seeing my cousin there was going to end up motivating me. I knew going to talk to my neighbor, that's motivation for me. But not only that, I know I need someone to feel accountable towards. I need someone, if I put myself out there, I'm just the type of dude that if I got to write a check, my behind got to cash it. And so knowing that about me, again, that's what you get with old age and with some wisdom. So now I'm at that point, I want you to help me stay the course. We're looking at a contest time of approximately the late October or early November. I have a countdown on my phone for the number of weeks that are left to get there. And I'm going to be honest, I'm already kind of getting tired of the dieting thing. It's like, okay, this is where I want it to be to maintain. I did not think I would get this lean. It was going to be a while, if ever. So on one end, I'm happy with the progress. Last week I hit 189 on the scale. And for those of you who've been putting, years into the iron game, it's not about what the scale says. It's about body composition. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the future. But, for me to get into this mindset, wanting to maintain, I'm like, okay, I'm good with that. Now I have to move out of the maintenance mode. Now I'm going to have to think about really getting shredded to get on stage. I watched the men's physique category, and that was really how we got here today. My coach said, you know what, got a show coming up. You want to be in it? And, asked me which one they wanted to be in. He said, you want to be in men's physique, classic? Which one do you want, bodybuilding? And I'm like, I don't even know what men's physique is. I always thought it was just a bunch of dudes getting up there in Bermuda shorts. I thought it was just a gimmick that the Mr. Olympia did because I've been out of the bodybuilding world for so long. I mean, I know some of the names, but names to me that mean something in bodybuilding: Franco Colombo, Boyer Coe, Sean Ray, Chris Cormier, obviously Arnold, Mike Mincer, Casey Viator. Those are the names that mean more to me, even though some of those cats go back into the 70s when I wasn't thinking about a weight. But I've always been more enamored with old school bodybuilding. By the time Dorian Yates came in there with his size, and then Ronnie Coleman, I was already kind of moving away. But to now see what bodybuilding offers in terms of the different classes, and I watched the men's physique competition, I'm like, you know what? I think I might be able to do that, especially because I have chicken legs. It doesn't mean my legs are strong. It just means that I have chicken legs. Look, some things with genetics, it is what it is. I mean, genetically, my arms grow like weeds. I have a pretty decent back. But when it comes to my calves and my quads, my hams are good. But hey, I've known too many men that genetically have great legs, and they, can talk about guys, oh, you guys, they don't even train their legs. You don't even lift. Well, what's the saying? Do you lift, bro? You don't even lift, but yet you're going to talk about somebody else. Well, I see you in the gym, but do you even train your legs? Well, you go like a doggone woman's menstrual cycle once a month, and when you do go, all you do is do some of these. I do some of these on the bench press. I get in some of these, and then I do some of these, and then I do some of these. You ain't even work your calves, but your calves are probably big because you probably weigh about 250, 260. Or you may just automatically just have large calves genetically. So, don't shade on us chicken leg brothers. Some of us are actually doing something about it. We actually train legs. And I'm a little bit more proud of my calf development over the last, half of a year. But one thing I do know, while my calves look great, they're vascular, I got still a little bit more of a diamond cut, they still not that big. My insertion is still here, not all the way down there, extending down to my heel. Well, you know what I'm talking about when we talk about muscle insertions. So obviously it's extending down to my heel, or I wouldn't be able to do this. But you all know what I'm talking about when we're talking about the fullness and a complete muscle belly that is genetically given to us by mom and dad. And those things make all the difference in the world when you're really looking at two conditioned athletes in bodybuilding. So all of that said, yeah, probably gonna get on the stage. I'm looking for your help. I'm gonna chronicle some of this journey. Gonna chronicle, what's going on in terms of how I'm eating, my caloric intake, some of the struggles. And I hope knowing that I have to come up here and talk to you is going to be enough to make me, in those times where I'm up here in this office, I'm working and I'm feeling hungry and I'm just tired of not feeling full. Y'all don't know. When you have been dieting for weeks at a time, you just get tired of not feeling full. So when I get tired of not feeling full, I'm gonna come give you a shout, maybe give you a holler, and that'll be enough to keep me motivated, all right? So I'm looking for your help. Give brother some help, but seriously, let me know if you have any questions down below in the comment section, or follow the podcast. Email me at blackprospector@gmail.com. Of course, go check out on your local or any your favorite podcast player. Check out the Black Prospector podcast. And of course, subscribe, give a thumbs up to the videos that you dig. I mean, we have to do it, right? That's what everyone on YouTube says. So, I mean, I guess it's better to ask than to not ask. But that way you'll still be up to date and current as we go along with all of this. Let's redefine the dad bod. I had a dad bod when I was a dad, even though I was a young man. And you know, we talk about fatherhood enough on this channel. But now, let's go ahead and let's get in shape. Half of the year is gone. I did a podcast on this not too long ago. Half of the year is already gone. How are you doing with your New Year's resolution? Well, let's do it like this. Join me. Let's get your momentum going for the rest of 2021. So when you roll into 2022, you too can say, I now have the best physique that I've ever had in my life at over 40, 45, 50, or like my neighbor, even over 60, because you become an inspiration, not just for the person you see in the mirror, but for others as well. All right, y'all. Peace. Holla at you later.